Awesome. All right. So as the topic says, healthy gut, the foundation of overall wellness. Of course, we'll be learning about the importance of gut health and how our gut impacts our energy, how it impacts our movement, how it impacts our immunity, our productivity as a person and as a professional. We'll also be identifying more signs of poor gut health and also discover practical habits and foods that would be essential for a healthier gut and how we can build sustainable wellness habits for daily life. I mean, there are quite a number of people that think that when we talk about health, that health begins and it ends with exercising or the use of supplements or even just treating illnesses when it appears. But modern research has shown, as well as practical experience, it continues to show us something powerful that a healthy life often begins in the gut. A healthy life often begins in the gut. This is one of the major reasons why your gut health matters a lot. If I'm to ask us right now, how many of us have experienced, if you have ever experienced bloating or stomach discomfort after eating, how many of us have experienced that? You can you can sit in the chat room. Or have you ever felt tired even after sleeping for several hours? You go to bed, you sleep for several hours, and then wake up and you still feel very exhausted and tired after. How many of us have experienced this? Either you experience bloating or stomach discomfort after eating, or if you felt tired, you slept, wake up after several hours, and you still feel very much tired after. How many of us have experienced this? Yes, thank you, Bukola. Yes, you felt tired after sleeping too long. That happens sometimes. And also felt tired even after eating. Wow. This even goes to show that our gut affects far more than digestion. It's not only when we eat something, even as for the fact that we sleep for several hours and still experience tiredness after. It goes to show that our gut health affects our energy levels, it affects the quality of our sleep, it affects our mental clarity, it influences our immunity, our mood, our productivity, even our stress levels, and also our skin health. In fact, a number of the symptoms that people struggle with daily: constant tiredness, bloating, brain fog, irritability, or poor concentration, and the likes. Many of them are connected to poor gut health. I would like to share an experience of mine with a colleague, a close colleague of mine many years ago in a pharmaceutical company I used to work with. Now, this colleague constantly complained of feeling tired every day. I mean, he would sleep late, sometimes wake up exhausted, he struggled to focus at work, he had regular bloating, he had mood swings, frequent headaches, and all. And he was thinking the solution was maybe if he takes more coffee or energy drinks, he will feel better. So he drank more coffee. He was still tired, nothing changed. He bought energy drinks. There was no change, with everything still continued. And then he blamed it on stress. But he was still feeling very much exhausted. So when he told me about it, I had to tell him that, why don't you go for a medical checkup? See a doctor to find out what was going on. So he went for checkups. I mean, he did quite a number of checkups, several checkups. But one major issue stood out, and that was his gut health and his unhealthy lifestyle habits. I mean, his habits included of having meals that were mostly processed, highly processed foods, irregular eating, little water, poor sleep, constantly stressed out. But once he was able to handle all these habits and correct them in within few months of improving this his gut health through better food choices and through better hydration, through management of his stress, and even his sleep. This is his energy improved, his health improved drastically. His concentration became more sharper. I mean, his mood stabilized, even his productivity at work changed. It was evident to every one of us. And I had to comment on it. That, what did you do? He said he did this, he did this, he did that, and it caused such a dramatic change. Interestingly, thing is that many people try to fix symptoms without realizing that the foundation of that program, the problem rather, may be in their gut. Because when your gut is healthy, it supports overall wellness and then it promotes your long-term productivity. But when it is not, due to modern lifestyles and all, this can disrupt the gut balance through stress or poor sleep or poor healthy eating habits. I mean, if you can ask yourself right now, if your gut was going to send you a voice note today, what do you think it's going to complain about? Try and assess yourself and think about it. But today we'll be uncovering why your gut may be influencing far more areas of your life than you realize. And we'll be breaking down this topic in a practical, relatable way so that you can easily understand it and then begin to make healthy choices immediately as soon as possible. All right, understanding gut health. What exactly does gut health mean? When we talk about gut health, we talk about gut health. What exactly does it mean? Your gut health refers to how well your digestive system functions and how balanced the microorganisms, every organisms in your gut, how balanced they are and how well they are living in your digestive tract. I mean, a healthy gut means that food is digested properly. It means that nutrients are absorbed efficiently. It means that waste is generated and eliminated well. It also means that harmful bacteria or microorganisms in the gut, they are well controlled, and the beneficial bacteria, they survive and do what they are supposed to be doing. Your gut is not just it's not just a food processing center. It's a major control system influencing many areas of your body. And let's look at what consists of the digestive system. The digestive system forms and begins from the mouth and ends in your intestines. It consists of the mouth, where digestion begins, basically the digestion of carbohydrates. It begins right in the mouth from the chewing. The enzymes that are responsible for breaking down carbohydrates are found in your saliva. So digestion actually starts in the mouth. And then your digestive system also includes your esophagus, it includes your stomach, where food is broken down by stomach acids and other enzymes. And then it also includes your small intestine. This is where nutrients are absorbed. A little bit of digestion also takes place here, but majorly nutrients are absorbed here into the bloodstream. And then also your largest intestine, which is also called your colon. This is where water is absorbed and then waste is formed. Other organs that are included in the digestive system are the liver, the pancreas. These are responsible for the production of the hormones and enzymes that we aid in that digestion. I mean, part, each part and each organ in this system, they play a very important role in breaking down food, in absorbing nutrients, in eliminating waste, and also supporting immunity. So think of your digestive system as a production factory. If one section of the factory slows down or it malfunctions, the entire system is affected. If one part doesn't work well, I mean, if you look at it, how a factory works in a company, once one section doesn't work well, of course, it will affect other sections, and then the whole system will be affected. That is why poor digestion can affect your mood, it can affect your concentration, it can affect your sleep, as we saw from a comment earlier. It can affect your strength and your immune system. Now, there's a community of organisms that ensures that all these sections of the digestive system, they function excellently. And that is the gut microbiome, the gut microbiome. I mean, this is a community of trillions of microorganisms right there in the intestine. Inside your intestines, you have trillions of microorganisms, such as your bacteria, your fungi, and other microbes, so to speak. And together, they are all called the gut microbiome. I'm sure someone is thinking, oh, wow, bacteria, fungi inside my intestines. Wow. And then, sometimes when we think of these organisms, we start thinking of diseases or illnesses and the like. Well, some of these bacteria are actually beneficial. They are very, very beneficial. And while others are they can become harmful when they overgrow. There are some of them that once they are well controlled, do wonderfully well in the digestive tract. I would like to know if I'm still very audible. Can we hear me clearly? Can everyone hear me audibly well? Am I still audible? Can someone
Yes, you
confirm
are.
that? Awesome, awesome. Thank you very, very much. All right, as we were saying, some of these bacteria are beneficial, such as the E. coli, known as the Escherichia coli, but shortened into E. coli. Very, very awesome microorganism in the intestine. But when they overgrow, they can become harmful, or when they migrate out of the community of the intestines. When they migrate to the urinary tract, for example, they can cause infections, popularly known as the UTI, the urinary tract infections. Or if they migrate from the gut to the bloodstream, they can cause sepsis. That is a very life-threatening infection. Or if they migrate to the lungs, for example, they can cause pneumonia. Just knowing that when they migrate to other places outside of the gut, they can be very, very harmful. All right, so beneficial bacteria and fungi, they help to digest our food. They help to produce vitamins for the body. They help to support immunity. They help to reduce inflammation. When we have a case of excess inflammation in the body, it can be very debilitating to one's health. So they help to reduce inflammation and also protect against infections. But unhealthy lifestyle habits can damage this balance. Habits such as consumption of excess sugar, highly processed foods, experiencing chronic stress or oxidative stress, or even frequent misuse of antibiotics. Most times we see cases where somebody is experiencing maybe fever or something, and the next thing we are quick to touch up on the next available antibiotics that we have nearby. Any little thing, we go with antibiotics. I mean, being on this side of the country, we can't be very fond of that. But when we abuse this antibiotic use, I mean, it makes sure that these organisms become resistant. They become resistant to antibiotics, and then you might end up realizing that one has a disease or an illness, and they might not even have the right antibiotic to be able to treat that illness because most of those organisms have become resistant to it. So frequent antibiotic misuse can actually affect this balance of microorganisms in the body. And then a sedentary lifestyle also does this. So when the balance is disrupted, the body often begins to send warning signals. And we'll see that we will see from here that the gut does a lot for us. But then it does even much more than we think. Now, how many of us before today, all right, how many of us knew that the gut is sometimes called the second brain? How many of us knew that the gut is sometimes called the second brain? I mean, it's not usually commonly known, but I'm here to tell you that the gut is called a second brain. And why is this so? Why is this called a second brain? Is that it is communicating constantly and directly with your brain. Your gut communicates constantly and directly with your brain through a nerve called the vagus nerve. This is one of the longest nerves in the body, and it communicates directly. It's like a train track running directly from the brain to the gut and vice versa. I mean, this is what scientists and researchers call the gut-brain connection or the gut-brain axis. It's a two-way biochemical and neural communication network. Another reason why the gut is called a second brain is that the gut also produces hormones. It produces neurotransmitters, just like the brain. It produces neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine. But interestingly, 90% of this serotonin is a hormone that is linked to happiness and emotional well-being. Another name for it is called the feel-good hormone. It's popularly known as the feel-good hormone. Now, 90% of this serotonin is actually produced in the gut. 90% of serotonin production in the body is actually done in the gut. And then it also produces dopamine, which of course is responsible for strength in a fight and flight response and even helps with digestion as well. And then another reason the gut is called the second brain is that it contains its own nervous system, just like the brain. It contains its own nervous system and it is featuring over 100 million nerve cells. I mean, over 100 million nerve cells are lining your digestive tract. So it can work, of course, it can work without the brain, but they need to work together because they communicate constantly. They are always exchanging signals. I'm sure if you've noticed personally that when you're under stress sometimes, you might experience stomach discomfort or when you are anxious, when you are experiencing anxiety, you might see it affecting your appetite. When you're anxious, you might notice that you're not having as much appetite as you should, or you're having more appetite than you should, or you end up doing something called stress eating. When you're under stress, you find out that you are eating a lot, or maybe you're in a situation where you experience fear and you get that sensation of movements in your stomach, what we usually call butterflies in the stomach, right? This is the gut brain connection in action. So, a healthy gut can actually help you feel better when it comes to your mood. It helps you to focus better and even improve your emotional stability and also improve productivity as well. Your emotional well being, your focus, and all that. And yes, the body does give warning signs. It gives warning signs. Most times, these signs come up and we attribute it to something else, not knowing that it could actually be your gut struggling and crying for help. And one of those signs is frequent bloating and indigestion. Persistent gas. If you're experiencing persistent gas, you're experiencing constipation, diarrhea, heartburn, abdominal discomfort, and the likes. This could indicate an imbalance in gut bacteria or simply a sign of poor digestion. Of course, occasional discomfort may happen, but if you're experiencing frequent digestive issues, regular digestive issues, this should not be ignored. It's a sign of a poor gut health. Another one is the fatigue, low energy, always feeling tired. Most times, people assume tiredness is only from hard work. When you work so hard at work and you feel tired, that should be the only reason why you are tired, right? But no, a poor gut health can actually affect tiredness because it affects nutrient absorption. It affects your blood sugar balance. It affects inflammation levels. So if your gut cannot absorb nutrients as effectively as it should, you're not going to be getting enough nutrients to have that energy you need. Your energy suffers. And sometimes it shows up as brain fog, it shows up as weakness, midday crashes where you feel tired in the middle of the day, or even difficulty concentrating. Then a poor gut health can also affect your sleep. It affects hormones that regulate sleep and relaxation. So people with poor gut health may experience difficulty sleeping generally or frequent waking, especially at night, poor sleep quality generally, and even feeling tired after sleeping. Then another sign is weak immunity and frequent illness. Frequent illness is when you find out that you're always falling sick regularly, always dealing with one disease. Food points to the gut imbalance, and since a large portion of the immune system is connected to the gut, a poor gut health can actually reduce the body's defense system, making sure that the system that is supposed to fight illnesses are not functioning as they should. Then you experience skin issues. Your skin reflects your internal health. Your skin is the largest organ in the body. So if anything is going to happen or anything is going to go wrong, your skin will probably show it first and it reflects your internal health. Gut imbalance may also contribute to acne, eczema, generally dull skin appearance, or even skin inflammation. And sometimes treating the skin alone is not enough. The gut also needs attention in these cases. Then, of course, last but not the least, mood swings and stress symptoms, stress related symptoms, anxiety, irritability, poor concentration, all these are linked to gut health. This is especially important for professionals when they are under pressure. For students as well, when they are handling academic stress, for entrepreneurs that are dealing with high demands, or even parents Parents, fathers, mothers that are having to balance multiple responsibilities at the same time. These are one of the things that can cause it, and it comes up from your gut health. And this is how your gut health affects daily life. Like you mentioned, you might experience low motivation. You might experience frequent discomfort after meals. You should feel better after eating, but instead you realize that you feel even worse, or you're not feeling comfortable enough after taking your meals. And just a generally low quality of life. This is something that is vital and it's important for every one of us to know about. And yes, we need to know how well the gut health affects our immunity, especially how the immune system is connected to the gut. Like we said earlier, a significant portion of the immune system, especially the hormones that have to take care of the immune system, they are located in the gut. About 70% of your immune system is connected to the gut. And when you have a healthy gut bacteria, they would help to identify harmful organisms when they come into the body. They help to protect the body from infection. They would reduce inflammation. These microorganisms do a whole lot in supporting that immune balance as we need them. And of course, when the gut health is poor, the immunity also weakens. And the beneficial bacteria is actually very important in the body because they act as security personnel. They fight harmful microbes when they come, they maintain digestive balance, and they also help to strengthen the immune defense. This is why protecting the healthy bacteria is very, very, very essential. And of course, lifestyle habits. Lifestyle habits strongly influence your immune resilience. Many chronic health issues are influenced by our daily habits. Like we mentioned earlier, eating excess sugar, unbalanced meals, but one way that we can prevent this is to drink enough water, sleep adequately. We'll be mentioning a lot of this later in the course of this discussion, but we need to know that some of these choices, small daily choices done on a daily basis, are powerful enough to create a long-term results and effects in the body. And yes, your gut health and your mental wellness. Another reason why your gut health is very, very important. They have a powerful influence on your mental health. Stress, for one, it affects digestion significantly. When your body is stressed, the body shifts into survival mode, which means that digestion is slowed down, and this will disrupt gut balance. And then you experience things like poor diet, poor appetite, overeating or undereating, or constipation, stomach discomfort, increased cravings sometimes. I don't know if anyone has experienced stress eating. If anyone here has experienced stress eating, just share with us in the chat room, share your experience, and what did you do about it? How was it like? How did you handle it? And all. I would love to see if anyone has actually experienced stress eating here. So yes, your gut health, it influences your mental health powerfully. And then a healthy digestion will obviously support your clearer thinking, it will support emotional stability, motivation, mental clarity, the emotional balance that you need. And likewise, chronic stress can affect the gut negatively. So we see that the mental health and your gut health are deeply, deeply connected. And that just shows us that the good health is very, very important. But I want you to note one thing. A good health is not just built in one day, in one perfect day. It is built by small, healthy choices that are repeated consistently. Small, healthy choices repeated consistently on a daily basis. So this is very, very important. And this will take us to the foods that we need to eat for a perfect and a wonderful gut health. The steps we take, the healthy choices that we make consistently over time, they do have a tremendous impact on our gut health. But it starts with the foods that we consume. So let's talk about the practical nutrition strategies, right? Some of the foods, one of them are fiber-rich foods. If you can add these foods as a regular addition to your diet, they go a long way a very long way in improving your gut health. And I will try to take them one by one. Your fiber-rich foods such as your beans, your oats, your vegetables, your fruits, and all. The beauty about fiber is that fiber mops off waste from the intestines faster. They mop it off faster than any other class of food, and they feed the healthy gut bacteria. Some of these sources of fiber foods that we've seen here, your beans, your sweet potatoes, your brown rice, another class of rice popularly called the ofada rice that we have on this side of the country, is also rich in fiber. Your whole grains and your vegetables. This supports better digestion. They support the blood sugar balance. They improve bowel movements. They ensure that you have a good bowel movement. And of course, fruits and vegetables also provide vitamins. They provide the antioxidants that will control inflammation, that will control excess inflammation in the body. And then, of course, good source of fiber. Some of these fruits and vegetables, like your apples, your bananas, your oranges, your leafy green vegetables, right? Your spinach, your kale, like your ugu leaves, one for one, your carrots, your cucumbers, so many options of your fruits and vegetables. The main goal is to aim for all of the right things in your plate. And also, another class of foods that supports gut health, your fermented foods. This cannot be overemphasized. Your fermented foods, they contain beneficial bacteria that will actually support the gut. I mean, we've seen how important this bacteria is to your gut health. And some of these fermented foods, they include your yogurt, the fermented yogurt, your kefir. Kefir is a fermented milk drink, right? It is a milk drink that is similar in consistency to your tin yogurt. Yes, thank you, Chukwemeka. Yes, the mango is also very good fiber. And wonderfully, mango is in season right now. So please make sure that you make use of it very, very well. All right. So talking about kefir, just to explain what it is a fermented milk from kefir grains. I mean, the kefir grains are a symbiotic cluster of beneficial bacteria and yeast. It is highly nutritious, very highly nutritious. It serves as a potent source of probiotics. It serves as a source of calcium, a source of protein, a source of vitamins, especially vitamin B12 as well. And then your fermented pap, too. Very, very important. Your locust bean, what we call iru or ogiri in this side. Very, very important. Your kunu made from the combination of millet, sodium, and tiger nuts, for example, you know, very, very important. Your uba is the fermented African oil bean seeds. It's common in the eastern part of this country, the eastern part of Nigeria. It's a very powerful food that supports gut health. I'm focusing more on foods that we can easily access here, our local food. I mean, we have the foreign ones like your sauerkraut, which is the fermented cabbage. We also have a kimchi, a Korean-based meal, also very wonderful. But if you have these foods that you mentioned and the one that you can see on your screen here, easily accessible to you, please make sure that you utilize them wonderfully. Your gari, your fermented cassava, your fufu, and the like. So many options. And these options also help to lower your sugar when possible. So it's something that is very, very important and useful. Then your hydration. Make sure that you take in enough water. Make sure that you are well hydrated. Water supports digestion and ensures proper waste removal. A lot of us are mildly dehydrated without even realizing it. Some of us don't take up, we don't even take up to 2 liters of water, or not talk of 3 or 4 liters on a daily basis. Again, one liter of water, your pure water, for example, is 500 mils. Two pure water is 1 liter. And some of you sometimes you take two pure water, for example, while eating and all, you already consumed 1 liter. So imagine that you can take 2 liters, 3 liters in a day and you'll be properly hydrated. So simple habits like this, like drinking water consistently throughout the day, would improve your digestion and also improve energy. Then reducing excess sugar. Yes, very important. Highly processed foods, excess sugar in your meals and your drinks, this disrupts the production and the balance of your healthy gut bacteria. Taking in your soft drinks, your soda, or your beverages, sugary snacks, ultra processed fast foods, your fries, your junks, excess alcohol for one. I mean, it affects the balance, and it's one thing that needs to be reduced or even stopped. You can avoid it completely. It will be beneficial for you in the long run. So making sure that you aim to eat a variety of colorful plant foods is also very, very important. All right, we're going to talk about another class of foods that are really, really beneficial for your health. That's your probiotics and your prebiotics. A lot of us might have been familiar with the probiotics, we're used to the word probiotics, but a lot of people might not know that there is a class of food that is also called your prebiotics. But let's see the difference between the two. Now, your probiotics are live live beneficial microorganisms like the bacteria and yeast and the likes that they add to the healthy flora in your gut. While your prebiotics are specialized in digestible fiber that serve as food for those microorganisms, helping them to grow, helping them to flourish well in the gut. Let me explain it better this way. Your probiotics are like teammates, right? They are like teammates in a company. Let's say your gut is a company, for example. Your probiotics are like teammates acting as active beneficial microbes. You can think of them as workers in your digestive system. They help to break down food, they help to support immune health and all that. So your prebiotics now, they are the fertilizers. They are the food that sustain these workers, the food that energize these teammates. So while your body cannot digest prebiotics, your gut bacteria would make use of them. They would ferment them to produce materials like a short-chain fatty acids, that will regulate inflammation and nourish your intestine. So some of them include some of the probiotics are your yogurt, your pepper, your iru, your locust bean, your gari, and other fermented foods like that. And your prebiotics are your onions, your garlic, your bananas, your oats, your flax seeds, and the likes. You don't both of them are very, very essential for the balanced gut. One is not better than the other than as we can see, but making sure that you have a combination of the two is very beneficial for the gut health. So you don't always need might not always need to use supplements. While supplements are very important, I mean a lot of probiotics they come in supplemental form. Now you might not always need them, but they are good as well. But if you are able to get some of these foods in your environment, both of them they are naturally both classes of these foods they are naturally abundant in your everyday healthy diet. If you can get them well, it's very, very beneficial. All right. Someone asked what kind of yogurt. It's better you go for the unsweetened one because the sweetened one has had added sugar. It's had sugar added to it. All right. The unsweetened one or your Greek yogurt, the unsweetened yogurt is a better option, purely fermented, and the good bacteria in there is still functioning as well as they should. All right. Then, aside from the kind of foods that you can take, you can also make food swap. All right. Like we said, small, daily, consistent habits over time, done persistently. Just replacing some of your usual habits, something that you might have been used to, and you might find out that, oh, it might be hard for you to break some of these habits. Just start making simple swaps, simple gut-friendly food swaps. You can replace your sugary drinks with water or your infused water. Your infused water is water that has your fruits added to it. You could have your slices of lemon or your grapes added to this water. Replace your sugary drinks with water. Choose whole grains over refined carbohydrates. Make sure that your choices are what would improve your health instead. They will do better for your health than actually what would cause more stress and more inflammation into your health. Then snack on fruits instead of junk food. Instead of going for the nearest meat pie, donuts, or your pizzas and the likes of, I'm trying to mention some of them. Go for fruits, go for vegetables, go for nuts. You can include your nuts, or even yogurts. And you can, do a wonderful dish of your yogurts infused with fruits, nuts, very, very interesting things. You can snack on this instead. And then add vegetables to your everyday meal. Make sure that you are eating and adding vegetables. I'm sure you can see the wonderful picture there of your salmon, fish, having a sprinkle of vegetables there. Although this is just a sprinkle, right? But make sure that you add vegetables very well. And then reduce late night heavy meals. Late night heavy meals would put a strain on your digestion. It will put a strain on your digestive system and would not allow your digestive system to rest overnight before continuing its job the next day. So try to make sure to eat your meals as early as possible. I'm seeing some questions in the chat room. Don't worry, we will attend to them after this presentation. All right. Aside from your food, simple food swaps, you can also include practical daily habits. Practical daily habits like maintaining a regular meal time. Make sure that you are maintaining a regular meal time. Irregular eating patterns can affect digestion. Some practices, helpful practices that you can include are making sure that you are eating meals at a consistent time, avoiding late night heavy meals like I mentioned earlier, and then eating slowly, mindfully. Make sure you chew your meals, masticate them well, break them down very well, and then it will help with the digestion in the body. Prioritize sleep. Sleep is essential for gut repair. It's essential for hormonal balance. Make sure that you have quality sleep consistently and make sure that you are moving regularly. Stay physically active. Movement helps digestion powerfully. I still did one some days ago where I was exercising and walking, and before I knew it, I couldn't wait to get to the restroom. It would help to flush out that waste, improve waste removal from your body. Movement also helps to increase blood circulation. Make sure that your blood is circulating well. It would help to reduce your stress and also improve gut motility, right? Even simple activities like walking, like I mentioned, that was what I did some days ago. Just walking alone, it would help. It will help a whole lot. And then practice stress management. Stress management techniques. Stress management is not just a luxury, it's a very vital part of healthcare. And some strategies you can imbibe are deep breathing. Make sure that you are breathing deep at regular times. Make sure that you are meditating or even prayer. Praying also is a form of managing stress. And that you are journaling. You are writing things out. It helps to remove things from your mind and putting them on your paper, putting them in your notes. It helps to manage stress. Have rest breaks during work. During your office hours, you can have some few minutes for rest break. And even if you are working remotely, you can leave your computer, try and take 20 minutes or so out of the front of your computer, walk around a bit. It helps to manage stress. And then improve social connection. Connect with people, connect with your colleagues, connect with people around you. This will help to reduce stress overload as well. And then make sure that you have a good consistency. Consistency is much more powerful than perfection. Health is built through consistent habits, not occasional extreme actions. Let me say that again. Your health is built through consistent habits, not occasional extreme actions. Small, consistent habits matter a lot, like drinking more water, eating more vegetables, sleeping earlier, moving daily, reducing stress gradually. Over time, these simple habits will create significant improvements over time. Now, I want you to reflect on this question. All right, we are rounding up very soon. I want you to reflect on this question. What are those daily habits that you know that you are partaking in right now? You know your heart. Be honest with yourself, right? What are those daily habits that are affecting your gut health? How can you change them? What change can you implement this week? Think about it and make that step. You can even mention it in the chat room. All right. What change can you implement this week? What is that one? Just start with one thing. Start with one thing. What is that thing that you can implement this week? And then look at how your stress is affecting your eating and your digestion. How is it affecting you? What are those wellness habits that I'm struggling with? What is that fruit or that vegetable that I find hard to eat, but I need to start eating it because it is very, very important for my gut health? Ask yourself these questions, and when you note them down and you write them down in your journal, it will help to guide your decision on a daily basis. All right. And as we conclude today, I want you to remember this. Your healthy gut is equal to a healthy body and a healthy mind. Your gut is not just about digestion. It is deeply connected to your energy, your immunity, your productivity, your mental clarity, your overall wellness. You cannot pour your best energy into work, into family, into business, or even into your purpose in life when your body is silently struggling, when your gut is screaming for help. You won't be able to function well. A healthier life often begins from the inside out. It begins from the inside out, starting with your gut. And a healthier gut will help you to feel more energized. It will help you to sleep better. It will help you to handle stress better and improve your daily performance. The encouraging part is this: you don't need to change everything overnight. Start with small changes. Start with small, consistent changes. Small daily improvements over time will help you and it will transform your well-being. Prevention is better than treatment. It is better for you to start preventing things now instead of waiting till you fall ill or start experiencing diseases and you spend so much money and then you would be forced to eat those things that you are not used to right now or taking those medications that you're not used to taking. So prevention is really, really important. And remember that consistency is the foundation of wellness. Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much for your time and your attention. I hope this session has empowered somebody, right? If it has empowered you, please mention it in the chat room. I hope it has empowered you with the practical knowledge that you can apply immediately in your daily life. All right. Remember that a healthy gut is truly the foundation of overall wellness. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Olatayo Oluwafunbi. I mean, that was a very enlightening session. Thank you so much. I'm sure we've all learned from the insight that you shared with us on what gut health is all about, the importance of gut health, and the practical steps that we need to take to ensure that our gut health is intact. We have a lot of questions already, but before we move into the question and answer session, I want to implore us to please be patient to the end of the webinar, and also let us do well to fill the feedback form. The link to the feedback form has been dropped in the chat box, so please don't log out without filling the feedback form. It is just 2 minutes. It's for us to know what we are doing right and what we are doing wrong so that our webinars can be better. So once again, thank you, Mrs. Oluwafunbi. Please, if you have questions, if you still have questions, I want you to drop it in the chat box. I will be reading out the question for our able guest speaker to attend to one after the other. So I will quickly run through the ones that have been dropped in the chat box. All right. So someone asked, okay, I think you have attended to the question of either a sweetened yogurt or not you have. So someone said, truthful, what you said about the correlation between mental state and stress. About mental state and stress and the stress eating. I had been an athlete since my teenage years. I came into a job at my fittest state. However, a year into the job, it became unbearable and stressful for me psychologically. And it seemed I only found comfort in eating. Before you know, I developed weight issues, cholesterol issues, and sleeplessness. It's been tough getting myself back on track. What is your advice?
All right. Thank you for that question as well. Like I said earlier, I think I emphasized this quite a number of times in the course of the presentation about making consistent changes over time. Yes, you've had these developments in a course of years, and I would like to say something. Rome was not built one day. It took you a while to get to where you are now, despite where you have been. You've been fit, you've been an athlete, you've been at your fittest state. But it took you a while to get to this level. It would also take you some time to get back to the state that you should be in. You just have to be patient. You have to be patient and also make sure that you are making those changes, food swaps, and those practical habits. Make sure that you are changing them over time. Of course, you might be able to do this by yourself, but if you are not able to, you have to connect with a professional, to connect with a nutritionist or a dietitian as well. It's something I also do anyway. I help clients, I help individuals to make sure that they get themselves back on the right track. In case you're not able to do it yourself, find a professional, find somebody who is an expert in this thing so that they can hold your hand, so to speak, and then help you make the corrections in your weight, corrections in your cholesterol issues, corrections with sleep that you need to. You might have to, I mean, depending on how serious it is, you might have to do some tests or not. But making sure that you have those practical lifestyle habits done consistently over time and being very patient, being patient about it, it will go a long way, and then you'll definitely get back on track. We see a lot of people that maybe they had weight issues from time, but with the hard work, with the consistency and the seriousness that they put into it, they are able to do even get better than they used to. So I believe this will help a lot. This will help a lot. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ma. Someone asked, what are examples of whole grain? So I think I should take like three questions all together so that you can just um
Okay.
attend to them at once in order to save our time. So someone asked, what are examples of whole grains? And another person said, more often than not, we eat some of these foods, but in what quantity are we supposed to eat these foods? So I think the person is referring to the foods you mentioned, like
Okay.
fufu, gari, all those high
Um,
fiber foods. So the
okay.
person is asking, how do we draw the line? What quantity is beneficial to our body and not harm our body? Then I'll take another question. Okay, I was the one who asked, you advised against sweetening drinks. So I know Zobo is natural to some extent. So I asked that, is it possible to replace sweetening drink with Zobo? Is
Okay.
it healthy for the gut?
All
Okay,
right.
so please, you
All
can
right.
run through the questions.
Okay, all right. You are some of the examples of whole grains are your everyday meals, your brown rice, your fada rice, that still has enough fiber in it, hasn't had most of the fiber taken out of it, like your white rice. Your oats is also one. Your wheat, your barley, and the like. They are examples of whole grain. Your oat bread, for example, those are examples of whole grain food. So it's something that you can take. The thing is, they have a complex form of carbohydrates. They break down well and they have more fiber inside than your other class of carbs. And then the proportion of how to take them. At least your carbs, you have a plate that should consist of your carbohydrates, your protein, your fruits and vegetables, and your water on one side. So your carbs should be at least 50% of your plate. Let's say you have your plate in front of you. Your carbohydrates should be at least 50%. Your carbohydrates also include your vegetables. They also include your vegetables and your fruits and all that. So they should consist of about 50% of your meals. Then your protein can be about 30%, 30 or 40% of your foods, and then the remaining percentage, the 10% and all, should consist of your fat and oil options of foods that are maybe more fatty than usual. And of course, if you have protein options that even have your fats in it, it's even much better. And then you mentioned something about fufu. I will say for your swallows, let me use the word swallow, fufu, amala, eba, and all, your feast size don't know if you can see my fist. Your fist size should be the size of food or swallows that you are taking, and make sure that the remaining part of the carbs are your vegetables instead. So, for example, you are taking a foriwo, for example, your vegetable soup and a fufu. Your fufu should be fish side, and the remaining should be vegetables. If you know, most times we say we want to eat eba and efo. Instead, you should be saying we want to eat efo and eba. Instead, prioritize your vegetables in your meals, and then your sweetened drink, your zobo. Yes, zobo is also a good one. It's not necessarily in the fermented class, but it is a good choice of drink that you can toss on. However, that is if you are sure of the contents of what you have inside the doobie. It's not having your added sugar. If you need to have it sweetened, you can sweeten it with your fruits, your pineapples, or your watermelon, or your grapes, or dates, as you like. Making sure that you are sure of the content inside. A lot of people will say you might buy from someone and they might say, oh, they didn't add sugar, they didn't add this, but you need to ask very well. Better still, why not make them yourself? If you can make them yourself, you'll be able to define what and what that you are adding into it. And I think I saw a question about gastritis. Somebody asked something about gastritis. Yes, all the foods that I mentioned are very, very good for gastritis. Gastritis is the inflammation of the colon or the stomach and the like. Yes, making sure that you have food, especially the fermented ones, which are rich in healthy bacteria, they would ensure to correct and fight the condition in the guts, and then make sure that the imbalance that has been formed is retained back. All right, thank you.
All right, Ma. There is another question that just dropped. The person said, please, Ma, the aspects where you said the gut and the mind are connected is true. I experienced anxiety after an episode of HOSA treatment, and I found it hard to come out of it. How do I come out of it? Then another one, so you can take both together. I was told to do away with bread because of HOSA. How true is it? Is bread unhealthy? And also,
Okay.
I've heard this, sorry to just to add to, I've heard this from my network that we should not take semovita as well as bread, should stay away. I don't know if you can also respond to that
Yeah.
as your answer. Thank you.
All right. Let me take it from the second question about bread. You know, when I mentioned bread, I mentioned oat bread. I mentioned a bread that is formed from a whole grain instead. I know some people like bread so much, and they're like, they might have a trouble about bread and all. Instead, go for bread that has been made from the whole grain. And if you can, make your bread yourself if you can. But talk about simple bread and all, I would say to avoid it because it is high in simple sugars. It is high in simple sugars that can disrupt the balance of your gut microflora. So I would say you reduce it drastically, even if you feel that you can't change it, reduce it drastically and make sure that you are taking other forms of whole grain. Yes, then about the ulcer and the mind, yes, one way that you can help, I think I mentioned that about meditating and making sure you're managing that stress, and then when you add all these foods, the healthy foods that would improve your gut microbiome, you realize that, I mean, you already said that there's a connection between the gut and the mind, the gut and the brain. You will realize that that correction will automatically reflect to the brain, and then you end up experiencing a better energy. You realize that the ulcer symptoms are reduced. I had an experience like that some years back. I used to work in a factory, a paints making factory, and every time, every food I was eating there was always affecting me. I was always having ulcer. In fact, they had to rush me to the hospital about 3 or 4 times at some point, to the extent that my doctor knew me. Once he sees me, he'll be like, "You again? You have come again. You are a regular customer here." I had to change jobs. And changing jobs meant being in that immediate environment that was influencing the ulcer session, the situation, and also changing the diet. The diet I was exposed to, I had to change it. And once I did all that, the ulcer experiences stopped. It stopped completely. I can't remember the last time I experience ulcer. So you will realize that when you put in this thing, your practical life habits, the foods that would improve your gut health, when you emphasize and utilize these foods, you will realize that it will change the effects that it will have on your mind. Since there's a communication between the mind and the gut, you will realize that this actually would improve it, and then you will see that you have better physical well-being and a better emotional well-being as well. I hope I've been able to answer that. Okay, a quick question that came in: lactose intolerance that loves milk. It's a large topic. It's a large topic. Go for your yogurts instead. And if you realize that your yogurts are still affecting you to that extent, then go for other options of fermented food. Or rather, imbibe your prebiotics. Take more of your onions, take more of your bananas, your oats, so that they'll be able to feed your gut microflora, the microorganisms in your body, and you'll be able to correct out whatever intolerance is there. And if you still love milk and all that, you just have to make that change. You have to make that change no matter what. It's for the better, the betterment, I'm not supposed to use that word, the betterment of your health in the long run. Thank you very much. Oh, you are muted. You are muted, ma.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you
Oh,
very much for the answers to those, your response to those questions. I believe our curiosity have been answered. One key takeaway before we wrap up the session for me is that from everything you've said, there is no one-off major action that we can take to ensure that we maintain a good gut health. It's all about those small actions that you take daily, those small steps that you take daily, which you have identified, doing exercise daily, staying hydrated, eating fruits and the veggies. When you do all this, you ensure that your gut health is improved and your overall wellness is also improved. So on behalf of Pan Africa Capital Foundation, I want to express our sincere gratitude to appreciation to Mrs. Oluwafunbi Olatayo. Thank you for sharing from your wealth of expertise and insight with us on how to maintain a good gut health. We really appreciate you. And thank you to all our participants for joining the session and making the discussion a very engaging and interactive one. Please, before you log out, ensure that you fill the feedback form. I am dropping it again for those of us that just joined in. We would love to hear from you. Thank you all and do have a wonderful afternoon. Bye.